All right, Fiberistas, welcome. It's I know this is a new time. We're gonna try doing live casts on Sunday, because I think a lot of you can join me on Sunday as opposed to Wednesday, but it'll be at 3 o'clock. We're just gonna test this out to see how it goes. Anyway, I'm Stacy Budge Cameron with UrbanGypZ, and today we're gonna do some live weaving. Let me turn this off. We're going to do some live weaving, but I also wanted to share with you guys my new e-spinner, my little Nano e-spinner. And the only reason why I'm showing this is because somebody had brought it up in the Facebook collective. And there was a bunch of questions about it, so I just wanted to share a little bit about what I know. And last weekend I joined up with a group of a couple of women that have the same e-spinner, and it was through my my weaving guild. Anyway, so we talked about some hacks and shared some resources, and so I'm gonna share those with you a little bit and talk about this e-spinner because this e-spinner is really reasonable. I mean, it's pretty freaking cheap, and I mean it's cheaper than buying even a traditional treadle wheel. So anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. Also, I'm going to talk about the class that's coming up that I'm going to be launching in October. Let's just start with that. In October, I'm going to be launching a class on lace and open space, and I was going to put that class off until on down the line and do something a little smaller again this time, but I decided to switch it around, and only because we've been getting a lot of questions about weaving open spaces and how to deal with different aspects of weaving open spaces. So I wanted to try out a couple of techniques and share those with you guys, as well as teach you guys how to weave lace and different things about weaving open spaces. So that's coming up. It's going to be towards the end of October. I am working on the production schedule right now, so I'll have a time when that exact date when that will release, probably by next week, or at least maybe even by the newsletter on Wednesday. Also, another side note, I'm a little behind on getting the show notes together for the last couple of videos, so I apologize for that. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, so that'll get caught up soon. All right, and what else was I going to talk about? Oh, I'm going to share with you guys something else that I'm going to be launching later this year. It's as you guys know, that I'm really into art journaling, and it's kind of a combination of an art sketchbook and what is considered like a mixed media journal. I keep, you know what? Let me grab one of my books. I should have been a little more prepared. Hold on. Okay. So these are my books. These are my notebooks. And I keep these out literally because they are filled with all kinds of, oh, this is a little stuck, all kinds of like mixed media little ideas where I play with some color. Let's see, this one. Oh yeah, just this is from 2014. Actually, this might be my Taos one. No, I don't think this is my Taos one. Let's see. This might be my Taos. No, that's not my Taos one either. But yeah, these little books, I mean, a lot of times they're just notes, but you know, I'll go through and just do notes, or sometimes I'll have working out business stuff or little ideas. This one, I think I even had sketches of, you know, here's clay notes, stuff like that. But it's just a really fun way to keep track of art ideas. Also, it's a way to stay creative. If you're getting stuck, sometimes dipping into art journaling mixed media will kind of enlarge a little bit of the idea. So I'm putting together an offering for art journaling. This is going to be outside of the Beyond the Basics. This is something totally different. And I'm thinking of doing it as a membership. So what it would be is that we would have classes housed on a platform online that you can access, and then you have a monthly membership to where once a month we would have a live lesson. So anyway, that's coming together, and that's going to happen probably by the end of this year. And the reason why I'm doing that is I'm also working on putting together a class that's going to be live. And by live, I mean like an in-person workshop. That's happening exactly a year from today, or a year from now. And it's going to be in Taos, New Mexico. It's with Jane Thornley and Deborah Lambert, and I can't remember the other woman's name, and Faith Welsh out in Taos. We're putting together, it's part of Jane Thornley's On Higher Ground workshop that she does. And I'm teaching art journaling to help people harness inspirations from the desert. And so they'll remember those ideas as they're working through their projects with Jane and with Deborah. And the other woman teaches jazz crochet or jazz knitting. So it's a really exciting event. And we've been planning for this for several months. But it's a event that Jane holds regularly in Taos. And so this year I'm going to be participating and sharing art journaling there. So I'm kind of doing this in a way to kind of get my ducks in a row for that's coming up in September. Anyway, so I'm offering that class online. All right, so that's what we have going on, and I'll put links to stuff. Actually, I'll have links in emails because the class isn't going to be ready. I'm still working on the production, and I don't have a deadline for that. But as soon as that goes live and is open for registration, you'll see that in the email, and I'll announce it here. And same with the art journaling thing. All right, so let's talk about this e-spinner, and I'm gonna do this first before we do any live weaving, because I just want to share this with you guys. Alright, I've got to switch my camera around. Oh look, we do have more people live today. We've hey Pat, hey Epiphany London, hey Holly and Hummingberg, and hey Miramar Graphic Design and Social Media from Puerto Rico. Hey, yay, glad you guys can join today. Alright, so let me switch this around. This is my little Nano e-spinner. And it's great. This thing is, this thing is pretty tiny, and it actually fits in this little case. Now this case did not come with the e-spinner. This is something I had on hand, but it's super portable. I mean, this thing you could here it is. Okay, let me take this spool off because I think the white is presenting too much of a contrast here. This little e-spinner is literally small enough to fit inside a purse. And you can see that I've spun a few yarns, and I'm doing these singles with weaving in mind. So that but it's this thing is really good. It doesn't spin. I mean, if I hacked it and changed these little loops out, I probably could do some art yarn with it, because this orifice reducer comes out, and that holds pretty big, as is this one, as is that. So, I mean, I think with some modifications to, I'm going to put this on here. I mean, with some with some modifications to these little guides here, to make them a little bigger to handle the thicker yarn, I think it would work just fine with to spin some art yarn. All right, so what we've got, it comes with, it comes with the regular cord, but I tell you, you can also get this USB cord, and that USB cord works. This is my portable battery, and this is what I use to charge up my iPad at convention. But yeah, this thing, I've spun for hours with this thing using this cord plugged into here. For that matter, heck, I could use this cord and plug it into the car, and because this thing is tiny enough to spin on road trips. Okay, so there's this elastic band here, and it hooks right here, and that's what that's the tensioning. That's how you tension it. But there's been a little bit of a problem with that. Let's see, and I'm not going to turn this on because to try and plug it into the an outlet right now is a little difficult. Okay. So it comes with that elastic band, but I tell you, there's a Facebook group, and I'm going to put that in the show notes when I update the show notes to this video at some point this week. They've been working on some hacks as far as this little e-spinner goes, because it's not a perfect solution right now. This I got from a Kickstarter, so they were figuring a lot of stuff out. So I ended up in that group learning about changing this up to be, what we've got here is I've got a little baby spring, some hemp cord, and some beads. And what that does is the spring, and it goes across here, and then the beads will notch it, however, I can go tighter. But the thing is I think I need something a little thinner than the beads, because it seems like it was a big jump between not being tensioned and then hooking onto the first bead. It was just a little too much, so I need to play with that a little bit more. But in the meantime, the elastics works pretty well for me. It's not ideal. Sometimes it doesn't draw up as well, and sometimes it slows it down enough to where it just stops spinning. So you can here there's a switch. You can you do an S or a Z spin, and then this right here, the dial will adjust the speed. But right now it's in the middle, and so if this were plugged in, it wouldn't even be turning on. Anyway, so that's the e-spinner. All right, let me see. Beautiful thing. Singles. Thank you. Wondering if the smaller e-spinners would not have enough power to handle thick yarn. I don't know. It seems like I didn't do, people have applied on this, and I think it was okay. And I think the power might be fine with a thick yarn if I had a better solution than that elastic band for this, because the motor's works pretty fine. It's just, I don't know, there's something about the elastic that's not tensioning right, that the hemp is tensioning a little better. The spring is a little more I don't know, there's something about the spring that helps with it a little better. And for me, I just have to adjust the beads a little bit more. So we'll see. I mean, I don't think I would do anything like super thick, but I think I could probably go maybe to even like an Aran weight with a little bit of chunk. I mean, I definitely wouldn't do anything like super thick, but maybe just an Aran weight. Great to see my first live show. Hey, all right, yay! In the spinners. Yeah, the spinner, it's a really, like I said, I got this on Kickstarter, and the bundle that came with the cords and the seven spindles and the USB cord, and then of course it came with an extra drive band and an extra tensioning elastic, and I got it for $100. That bundle. They have a cheaper bundle that was just the three spindles. I mean, three spindles, and then and not the USB cord, just the regular plug-in cord. But you know, for $50 more, you get a little bit more. But I think the price went up just a little bit once the Kickstarter was done. They are for sale now, but I want to say that the bigger bundle with the 7 spindles was $110, and I think the and I'm not sure how much the other one was. Maybe $60. I'm not sure. I heard those bands can burn up if you really get going with your spinning. The bands, as in the elastic bands. Have you had any issues? Yeah, Pat, I have had issues with the tensioning, and that's why I've been messing around with that solution with the spring and the beads. And it might be that I would have to replace that hemp cord too. I've seen where other people have used jelly cords, but it might burn up. And I've even heard where people have tried fishing line. And I know I have a butterfly e-spinner, and the manufacturer of that e-spinner had suggested going with fishing line to replace the drive band, but I still use the cotton cord that came with it, and I've been spinning with that thing for 10 years. So I don't know. I mean, I guess if it burns through the hemp cord, I can always just replace it. And same with the elastic band. I mean, really, this elastic band is really just, you know, the tiny corded elastic. I mean, that's something I can get at a craft store pretty easily. It came with an extra one, and I don't know. I still have to work on this hemp cord one. There's something that's not quite right about it, and I think it's because the height of the beads are a little too much. But I'm going to play with it. That group at the Weavers Guild is meeting up again next Saturday. And so I'm going to get together with them and maybe go over this band with them and see what they've come across. So anyway, it's a great little spinner. I mean, it's like I said, it's super portable. I mean, I wouldn't do anything super heavy duty. It's perfect. It's absolutely the perfect amount of yarn for little art weaving. I mean, seriously, I've already rounded through. Oh, I've got a bunch of tiny little spools of this type of stuff, and I've just been going through my spinning stash and pulling out the small bits of roving and carded up. Even, you know, I carded up some stuff on my blending board, and what I pulled off my blending board was the perfect amount of fiber for filling one of these spindles. So the only thing is, like I said, I just wouldn't put any super duper chunks in there, but I do add a little bit of nep textures and recycle some of my yarn cut up into there. So have you used it to ply? I haven't, you know, and only because I've been working on just singles for weaving. But I think plying, I've seen where a lot of people have turned around and plied on their regular wheel. But that being said, I've also seen where people have plied on this thing as well. I mean, it seems to like it would work just fine. But I'll let you know if I end up plying something, because I think it would be, I don't see that it would be much of an issue, other than you would end up using two spools rather than one, and so you'd get a shorter length of yarn, which, I mean, for weaving, the type of weaving that I'm doing, that's not necessarily an issue. But if you're doing some kind of knitting, you're not going to get, I mean, you'll be changing out those tiny balls pretty soon. So if you were plying with the intent of using the yarn for like something for knitting where you would want a longer run of yarn, then yeah, I would ply it on a wheel where you have a bigger spindle, or on another, I mean, I don't know if anybody has another e-spinner, but yeah, that's what I would do. All right, are there any more questions about the e-spinner? I'm going to give it a minute, and I'm going to pull this stuff together and move it so I can get weaving. I'm going to do a little weaving demo. We're going to work on that, what I started last week. Alright. Oh. Alright, I'm going to just toss this down here. And I have not done any additional weaving on this thing since you guys saw it last week. We're still where we were. Let's see if I can. Oh, there we go. That's a little better, right? So yeah, this is where I was last week. And I can't even remember what my fabric looks like back here. So let's look at it. Oh yes, I remember now. So that's where we were. So I think what I'm doing at this point is picking up some more of those blues and a little bit of that hot pink. And a little maybe of that gray. That's what I think I'm going to do. Because I'm pretty sure I'm done with this white. So let's see what we got. Did I move? Oh, let's see what I had out here. Oh, look at that. Maybe I'll just work with that a little bit. And I've got... Oh, no. Here's what I wanted to do. I wanted to use some of that. And maybe a little bit of this. Maybe that. I don't know. Alright. We'll just start. Let's start with some of this to ease that color in a little bit. Oh, and I wanted to get... I know I had this out here. This is good. This. Yeah, let's do just a line or two of that. Yay! Hello, Jeannie. Alright, let's see. So we are working down. Yay! So yeah, I think, I don't know. I've had the urge to just do some weaving demos lately. Mostly because I haven't been doing a lot of, well, I did some weaving on my big loom, and I can show you guys that. Maybe I'll do some of that next week, because that piece is coming out really cool. But I wanted to get back into working with my little loom, because I'm getting ready to go back into the clay studio and pull some headers and some tiles together for this work. Anyway, so yeah, this is a little bit of, I want to say this is some of that tricolor fin that I showed you guys that if you follow me on Facebook, I think I had a little live cast about a month or two ago showing where I was working on those fleeces for a sweater for myself. So this yarn is some of that I was doing a test spin, and this is a hand spun tri-fin that I chain plied. So I spun it super thin on my other e-spinner and then chain plied it. Alright, let's tuck this baby in. Oh, you know what? Nope, I'm gonna do that. So this time I'm just going to do an overlap. I'm going to do a couple of rows of this because it's kind of the same weight, and then that's going to segue into this color here since it's similar. So what do you guys think? You think Sundays are better or easier for you guys to get here? I know over in Europe it's nighttime, so I think the evenings are okay overall, but I know here in the States it's in the afternoon, and I know that Wednesday afternoons a lot of people are at work. So I do one more row of this. And it's a little unusual here because I'm working sideways, but mostly so you guys can see on the camera. For me, it's easier. Good. Yeah, well, you know, that's what I was thinking, Holly, is that that it would be easier just in general because where are my scissors? Oh, here we go. I'm gonna have to use the big scissors. Just because it's the weekend. All right. Well, and also it's easier for me because my husband works on the weekends. What am I doing wrong here? My husband works on the weekends, and so it makes it a little easier for me to go live when he's not here. So that works out good. You know what I'm going to do? Since that is so different, I'm going to actually take that down and... Okay, I'm switching it to where it's just going to go around this end yarn and tuck back right on top of that other pick. Just because the next yarn is so thin that it's going to look a little odd. Okay. I don't know if that makes sense. There we go. So this next one, I'm going to start fresh on this side. And I'm going to use this kind of blush color. I have two colors on here. I like that purple, but I think I want it to be this blush color here. If I can find the end. Where's my end? Okay, wait. What's this? That's not it. Is that it? Maybe this is it. There it is. Okay, maybe I'm not going to do this blush color if I can't find the end. Oh my goodness. Okay. The universe is telling me it doesn't want me to use that. Wait, what's this? Oh, here it goes. Okay, wait. Is that it? No, that's not it. This is it. Okay, here we go. Good grief, what's that? Alright. Whew, that was slightly stressful. Okay. Yes, this is an Ashford samplet. Oh, wait, Sundays are good for me. Hubby watches football and I get to watch YouTube. Yeah. There you go. That's the way to do it. Yep. Yeah, I think if my hubby was home too, he would be watching the Eagles. Except for, you know, I tell you, we live far enough away from the Eagles that he doesn't. It's very rare that they televise it. So here in North Carolina, they would rather televise something closer to here. Let's see, what else have we got? Ashford. Yes, Ashford samplet. Okay. And I'm not doing anything super fancy as far as techniques go. I'm just keeping it simple, just like in the free class that I offer that I'll link in the show notes when I update them this week. I apologize that I'm kind of backed up on getting the show notes for the other live cast finished up. I just got a little behind on that. But okay. You see, since this is a finer yarn, it's going to... You know what though? I might just do a little bit of this and then switch to a different color. Because I kind of like it. It's really, I don't know if you guys can see, but it's kind of, hold on, I'll hold that up. It's almost the exact same color, and both of these are hand dyed by me, so I know for a fact that it's not the same color. Let me. Alright, let's see if I can hold that up. Alright, so I don't know if you can see, because right here, it's almost the same color as that brownish beige. It's a little different, but since I'm playing with texture, because this is like a single super thin lace weight, and this was more of like a, oh, what is that? Okay, sorry. And this is more of like a, I guess it's like an Aran weight. An Aran weight, I think. Alright. So I'm just going to do a couple of rows of this thin, and then I'm going to switch to this purple color to give it a little more subtle changeover. Unless I can come up with another color. Now let's see what I got here. Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to use that. But not right now. You know, I don't think I have with me. Oh, wait, let's see what's in this basket. So usually I'm weaving over by all my yarn on oh, well, you know what? Here's, that's not quite. That's fun, but that's a little fit. That's a fingering weight. All right, we're just gonna. Oh wait, here's a pink and yellow. Oh, this is pretty too. This blue and green. I like that. All right, I'm pulling these out. No. I'm pulling this out. Hold on, because that's tangled. This brown's cool. And this is a really light fingering weight. And that's going to pop against some of the colors I want to add. Alright, I'm going to set this aside for now though. And we are going to keep on with this. I might have to add this loom to my collection. Thanks. And this is a good time, Stacy. Oh, good. I'm so glad. Yeah, like I said, I think Sundays work better because most people are off on Sundays. Except for my husband, which is good because he doesn't need to be here when we do live. Actually, it's better if he's not here. Because sometimes he forgets. He forgets I'm live. But the only other thing is that sometimes on the weekends, my neighbors are mucking about outside. Like right before I got on, somebody was ratcheting a ladder, and so it was making that big clanky metal sound as they were extending that ladder. But I mean, I guess it's not any worse than the heat pump, which is right outside this window. You can kind of hear it right now because it's on. Okay, let's see. I think. You know what? Now I've gotten to the point to where this is the same width, and I don't like weaving sections the same width because then it starts to look real stripy, and I don't want this to become stripy. Oh. And again, it's a little awkward just because I'm weaving sideways, but that's mostly so you guys can see. Hey, ever use a variable dent weave? And I haven't used a variable dent weave, but that's not to say that I wouldn't. I would love to use a variable dent weave, but I don't have one. So I just stick with this. But I do, you know what I like about the Ashford, and I don't think I have it right here handy with me. I think it's across the room. But the Ashford comes, you can get a 2.5 DPI reed, rigid heddle, and that's big enough for art yarn, and I use that in the art yarn warps class. But even with my Kromsky, I know that they have, I guess now a lot of the rigid heddle looms have variable dent reeds. It's on my list of things to buy, but I haven't gotten one yet. But you know, if I do get one, somebody had shared with us in the group that the Ashford rigid heddle reeds fit on the Kromsky, which is great because if I get Ashford, even if I get, well, I don't know. You know, part of me, especially with a loom this small, I don't know if I would use the variable dent with this one. I might. I don't know. You never say never. But I definitely would use it with my bigger loom, with the Kromsky. And I hear like I said, that the Ashford reeds rigid heddles will fit on the Kromsky, which is ideal because then I can get the variable dents for that reed, and then get a smaller, you know, frame for the variable dent segments for this, and then use the same segments for both of my looms. I don't know if that makes sense. I have the variable loom is on my 24 stack. Yeah, that's, man, they're pretty awesome. I would totally use one in a heartbeat. Alright, so this section, a few more, and I'm going to switch over to a different color. Although I might, you know what I'm going to do while I'm right here instead? I'm going to take a little bit of this hot pink and put it right there. And I'm not going to go all the way. And let me tell you why I'm doing this. I'm not going to, well, this is almost all the way. Let me cut a little bit more of that off. Alright, the reason why I'm not going all the way across, that I'm just going to go part way, is because this kind of breaks up the stripes when I have something right in there. And I'm going to offset it, but this is right smack in the middle. Okay. I think I'm going to offset it to the, to the right. Where am I at? No, I'm up. Alright, so, and what I do is I'm going to place this and this yarn is a hand spun. I want to say it's hand spun Seacell and Merino maybe. Alright, so when I do that, I go ahead and run this through as well. And then beat that into place. Alright, so as you can see, and it's a little off center, so that's going to draw your eye up to that a little off center. And I try to add stuff like that and just make it compositionally work with whatever's right there in front of me, because it usually will work out. But that helps break up the stripes just a little bit, as do the locks. The locks tend to break up the stripes a little bit too. And so I did do a live cast on breaking up stripes, and I'll post that link in the show notes as well when I work on those this week. And those show notes, I haven't put together that post, but that post I'm going to put together, and then I'll have that linked up in the newsletter. See, that's why I'm trying to do these on Sunday, because then you guys get the newsletter on Wednesday, and then the newsletter, what the newsletter will have is links to Sundays, the prior Sundays live cast with show notes, and then information about the upcoming upcoming live cast. I say podcast, it's not a podcast. So, and I tried this feature. I don't know. I did this thing where I posted just a regular, like, static post on YouTube announcing about that I was going live today. So I don't know. Did you guys see that? I don't know if that's the first time I've posted something like that, so I'm not sure how the reach is on that. All right, Marina wants to know, are you opening up Beyond the Basics class soon? Marina, I am probably not going to open up that Beyond the Basics class until I get done doing all the smaller class revamps. So that'll probably be at some point next year. And if I do open it up, it's going to be something, it's probably going to be like a membership type of thing. So I haven't really decided how that's going to work. And what the individual classes are, the series are, is when I built that Beyond the Basics class, I knew that the information for those classes could be a bit more. And I knew that they were going to need to be revised. So as I started to do that, those classes started to get pretty freaking big. And it just seemed to make sense to break them up into individual classes, because, you know, not everybody wants to have all the classes. I mean, some people do, but some people just want a class here or there. So it makes it a little more affordable for people who maybe just want to learn how to weave art yarn warps, or maybe just want to learn how to do open spaces, that type of thing. So that's why I did it that way, just to make it a little more affordable. Alright, so I'm going to switch colors here. And let me go back down, because this is thin. Tuck that into there. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to move on to this kind of grayish purple color, which is just going to be a real super subtle difference. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it on, because it's kind of, yeah, you can kind of see it. Looks a little darker and a little purplier. Oh gosh. But finding the end, here we go. Alright, I'm going to start on this end this time. And I'm going to loop that edge around that last warp thread and tuck that end in. Here we go. Yay. Alright. No, I need you. You need me what? Oh no, Marina, what do you need? Hey Denise and Marion from Brazil and the Netherlands. Blue Scoop. I did see it. Oh, good. Thank you. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, maybe that's the way. I also announced it on my Facebook page. So, but I know some of you guys aren't even on Facebook, so that's why I tried to do it. It made sense. It just made sense to put it on YouTube. Oh. That is so subtle. I can barely see it here. So I can imagine you guys are not able to tell that difference either. It's subtle. Maybe I'll just let it be a couple of rows. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a couple rows, and then I'm going to do this brown, because that's how I roll. Marina, I'm just starting and I need your help and guidance. I saw it on your Facebook. Oh, okay. Interesting. Need your help and guidance. All right. Well, Marina, let's... If you have any questions, then ask in the... Are you in the collective? The collective is a really good place to gather information. Are you on Facebook? You might not be on Facebook. But I tell you too, I kind of... Well, sometimes, you know, people will ask questions and I'll get on the collective and post some stuff on there. But for the most part... Okay, I'm going to end this here. No, I'm going to go down and end this. But for the most part, the collective is... I let the collective be a place for everybody else to post their stuff, just because I think you guys are super inspiring. And you guys can find me here on my channel, or on my channel, or on the Facebook page. All right. I'm gonna trim that really close. All right, I think I'm gonna go for, you know what, I said I was gonna do this brown, but you know what, I am going to do this variegated right here. You're right, that single line stops the whole piece from looking like stripes, right? I know. Yeah, it makes a big difference. I mean, and I'll here, let me show you this. And and the thing about that pink is that everything's so neutral, and that is one just big pop right there. You know, I kind of, well, this is a bad example. But yeah, this is that clasped weft, so that breaks it up a little bit. But sometimes, yeah, it makes a difference because it draws your eye, that one pop. And what I might do is, like, further up, I might do another pop, but instead of doing it over here, I might put it on this end. So compositionally, it's going to draw your eye across. Now, if this is a wearable, I don't know that that's going to make that much of a difference, but I'd like to think it does, because I try to add composition to everything, to all of these pieces. Okay, up or down? All right, up. To take all your individual courses. Yeah, you know what, Marina? If you, you know what I did is that there were a handful of people who had bought all the individual courses. There weren't that many, because at the time, the last time I opened up enrollment, the people who had bought, there were just like 4 people who had bought all 3 of those classes, and I gave them a special discount, like a major discount on the Beyond the Basics, because I get it. I mean, they sunk the money into that. Whoop. Whoa, there we go. All right. I'm going to have to shift this a little bit, because we are getting tight right here. Now this is a single that I got from India, and it's so loosely spun. It's super, super, super loose. All right. I'm going to have to advance this a little bit. What breed provided the locks use? And P.S. I would kill for my own black nose floss. Have you seen those Beauty's Cues? No, I haven't. I'm not even familiar with that, Kathy. Breeds, the breed of locks I use. Oh my goodness. Okay, so these, I'm not even sure what these are. Because this, I went to a weaving workshop by a Saori weaver named Dawn Hummer. She's, can you see these? There we go. And they're super silky. Dawn has a studio in Chapel Hill, and she is represented at a local gallery, and I just really love her work. Anyway, so she was having a Saori workshop in the gallery where she is. It's a co-op that she's part of, and I traded her some hand spun wool dreads and an art yarn for these silky locks. They were just wonderful. Anyway, but that's not to say I use 3 places. I go to SAF. I haven't been in the last couple of years, but that SAF is that fiber festival that's in Asheville, and it was super easy for me to go there when I lived in Asheville. And I would buy the show fleeces, and I would look for locks, and the locks that I would get mostly. Now I can't think of what the Teeswater locks, and I would also look for mohair locks, young mohair, because after the older mohair they're pretty stiff. So I would primarily get those locks. So most of what I use is Teeswater. Now I do have like an old Coltswold. I think that's how you say that. Oh my goodness, I can't. Anyway, a Coltswold and some Wensleydale locks. Those are super old. One of them I got at a fiber art garage sale. Now that happens in Black Mountain, which is just outside of Asheville, and that happens once a year. I think one of the guilds puts it together. I'll find a link to that, because people come from like 3 states over for that thing. You can buy some pretty good deals on used equipment at that. But somebody had a fleece that was pretty yellow from sitting for a while, which is fine. I don't have a problem with yellowed fleece because I dye my fleece, and I'm not that much of a purist when it comes to the colors that I dye. So, anyway, and then the Wensleydale, that's probably from SAF from years ago. Okay, so then the other places where I get fleece, there's a company out in California, and boy, now I can't think. Meadow Mills Farm? Mary Meadows Farm, that's what it is. Mary Meadows Farm. I'm going to put a link if I can find it. I have not bought from them in years, but I used to buy the heck out of their fleece. They would send out an email, and then I would go and look, and they have primarily merino and cormos, and maybe some targi, and I would get fleece from them. And then there was a guy that I had met through a friend who had a farm in Yancey County, which is outside of Asheville, and he had some Rambouillet sheep, and he also at one point had some a couple of fin, but I think the fin didn't work out. I think the fin didn't survive, but the Rambouillet was awesome. So I have 2 gigantic Rambouillet fleeces that I'm working my way through. So I will put their information in the show notes when I get that updated. Okay, there's a lot. Okay, hold on. Oh goodness. Stupid keyword, bad grammar. Blame the tech. Take a look on Facebook or run an image search. Gorgeous. Okay, yeah, definitely we'll do that. Hey, Karen. I think Maureen wants to be on the basics class. Yeah, Maureen, I get it. Like I said, we'll probably after the first of the year. Once I get these classes, it'll be a while though, because I've still got 6 more classes to produce. Kathy, yes, I found out that the Blackmore partner was in intensive care. The nurse goes hiking. It's been Alicia. Thank you. You're welcome, Kathy. Buy some lamb one day or two. You got a dream. Okay, 10 o'clock. All right, Marianne. Good night. Thanks for joining us. All right. I'm gonna do just a couple more rows and then I'm gonna wrap it up myself because we've been on for an hour. And hey, guess what, you guys? I think I finally got my internet stuff fixed. Whoop whoop. I say that, and I'm knocking on wood because I don't want it to all of a sudden peter out because I did that. Yeah, I finally had one last conversation with Spectrum, and they said, "Oh, you're not on 5G." Now, granted, I know there's some controversy about 5G, and I'm not thrilled about having to be on 5G because I hear it causes cancer. But that being said, at least my internet is not fading in and out. But I tell you, the solution they need to present is to outright beef it up in this area, because like I said, I live in a part of town that is developing really fast. I live not that far from the Research Triangle, so there's a lot of, when they do build, they kind of build with, these young techie people in mind, and so a lot of the property around here are townhomes, condos, and apartments, so it's high density. And the houses they build are basically on top of each other. So there's a lot of people crammed into this area. And even in the short amount of time that we've lived here, they have built no less than 4 new developments within a mile of here. So yeah, density's pretty high. Anyway, and that puts a strain on. Okay, so I'm liking this, but I tell you what I don't like is that I want to stop this, and it feels like it's the same width as this piece here. So I would want to weave this to be a little thicker than this section right here. And but what I like about this section is that it has, since this is a variegated yarn, there's a little bit of contrast here, so it doesn't feel like it's all one, but at the same time, this piece, this part, and this part are also the same width as this. So again, I try to be mindful of keeping these widths of the different colors and varying that a little bit, and that helps with the composition. All right, I'm going to check one more time for and you know what, I'm going to switch the camera around, and okay, and that's what I'll do, and we might work on that more next week unless there's something else that I need to do a live cast on. All right, we're switching. Hello. All right, let me look. Conversation with Spectrum equals collaborating them. Yeah, let me tell you, I got so frustrated with Spectrum because they kept having me reboot my computer, reload the apps, redo all this stuff, and then it just wouldn't work, and then it was just a nightmare. So yeah, my password is Spectrum sucks balls. Just saying. But I do use numbers. Anyway. Yeah, Spectrum. If only, and I hear that Google Fiber is like within this area, like across the street, I think they have Google Fiber, but not here. So I don't know what that is, but as soon as they open up here, I hear Google Fiber's good. So I haven't seen any complaints. I have seen complaints about AT&T's fiber network, but I don't like AT&T either. I don't like any of them, to be honest, except for the fact that it does allow me to do this. So I'm grateful for that. So don't get me wrong. Okay, keeping it positive. All right, so I'm about to sign off. It's 4 o'clock. Thanks for joining. We're going to do it again on Sunday because I think Sunday is a good idea. And I'm going to update show notes. And if you are on the newsletter, the show notes I will send out the email on Wednesday that will have a link to the blog post with show notes for this cast, as well as a link for the YouTube link for next week's broadcast. Anyway, so as soon as I sign off of here, I'll make sure a link to the newsletter is in my description. So there you have it. All right, so thanks for joining. I'm glad you guys were able to join me this afternoon. That was fun. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.